Okay. Canada's broken because we're stupid.
Look at what's going on in Canada right now, with Carney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's insane what's going on. And most Canadians are just kind of vibing along with it. Nobody wants.
Hello, gang. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney. Get your Canadian federal politics right here. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Coming up, Prime Minister Carney's going to get broken down on the Joe Rogan experience. Chrystia Freeland is going to break down on live TV twice. Tucker Carlson is going to roast Prime Minister Trudeau. And Jordan Peterson is going to do a mental breakdown on Prime Minister Carney. Check this out. Let's go.
And I just want to do my thing, and I just want to protect my thing.
There's certainly a lot of that going on.
British only care about it as long as I have my daily pint at the end of the day. That's all they care about. They'll in the meantime, their entire country is being overtaken and overrun by, when else in history has this happened and ended well?
No. It's so shocking how quickly it's happening in England that you just go, how do you bounce back from this? What is the remedy?
Yeah.
Because they're doing this mass arrest thing with social media posts, which is bizarre. It's bizarre to watch. And then they eliminate jury trials for anything other than murder and rape.
If you say anything, you're in jail. If you repost anything, you're just immediately sent to jail. Look at what's going on in Canada right now, with Carney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's insane what's going on. And most Canadians are just kind of vibing along with it. Nobody wants to rock the boat. Nobody wants to be racist. Nobody wants to be, nobody wants to be discriminatory in any kind of way. Rightfully so. You want to believe that your leaders are taking care of you, and they're not. And it's over. We've lost. It's over. I mean,
you think it's over here in America as well?
Well, it got slowed down a little bit. Whether you like Trump or not, and I don't really like anybody, but
that's a healthy perspective.
It definitely added a road bump in the actions of the cabal of the Clintons and the Obamas and the bankers that control them. And that's when you see the movie The Counselor. That's what you realize is that, wow, the cartels are the banks, and they are law enforcement, and they are the media, and they are everything. And there is no fighting it. And there is no individually fighting it. There's nothing any of us can do.
That is...
And I don't mean to be... the only thing you can do is, affect what's happening around you locally within the moment.
But don't you think that more people are aware of what's going on right now? There's more pushback than ever before, and so there's a possibility that it could be stopped?
Yeah, look at that guy. Look at that guy in the airport, though. Everyone's like he's crazy.
But
nobody
you're
wants
yelling
to get
at
involved.
a fucking airport. I would think he's crazy too.
Well,
if I was there waiting for my flight to go visit my parents, and there's some fucking guy yelling out the Epstein file, you're just living your life. What do you want me to do, dude? I'm headed to Florida right now.
Oh yeah.
And that's how Canadians feel. And so this is a really sad time for us. We are hurt and we're insulted.
I know that in Canada it's official policy that coming out of the closet is good. Unless you're the Prime Minister. But it's let's say you had some sort of weird Prime Minister to dress up in fussy costumes. It would be super important to point that out a lot. Relentlessly. Somebody told me last night that his base... I was asked, we had this wonderful dinner last night with two of the most famous people in Canada, probably the two most famous people, Lord Black and my friend Dr. Jordan Peterson. And I asked, is there anyone in the country who supports this guy? He's so I know him I've never met him. I only know him through television. I know his cousin Gavin Newsom pretty well, but I don't know him. Is there anyone who takes him seriously? And everyone in the room said, oh, yeah. Young people, particularly young women, take him very seriously. They love him. And I thought, there's really only one way to combat that, and that's by pointing out what an absurd poser this guy is.
We'll get back to the absurdity of Canadian federal politics in a moment. Just a friendly reminder to smash the like, hit subscribe. Please leave a comment below if you have something to share.
What do we say about Carney's experience and his resume? Well, the real question is, what is he aiming at? Right, so he's got a stellar educational background and this vast experience on the international side. But the question is, what has he concluded from that, and what has he done in consequence, and what is he planning to do in the future? Now, I read Carney's book, Values, very, very carefully. And so the reason I want to walk you through that is because that's his carefully thought through statement of principles and aims. And so it's useful to take a person at his word on the written side. And so I think we can derive from values what Carney's values are, what values he thinks Canadians do and should hold, what we can conclude about what he's already done for Canada and on the international stage, and where things are headed in the future. And so now, I'm going to take Carney's values book apart in two ways. The first thing I want to tell you is what he thinks Canadians' values are. Okay, so he's setting himself up as an arbiter of the Canadian ethos. And to do that in his book, in the first couple of chapters, and then at the end of the book, he tells us all what makes Canada the country that it is. And so we want to delve into that. All right, so Carney's conclusion with regards to Canada's core values are a leftist, utopian, globalist view of the Western tradition. So he believes, for example, that the core Canadian values are fairness and equity, resilience and adaptability, sustainability and responsibility, and community and cooperation. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to do, those are all terms that sound positive and that could, in principle, bring people together on the basis of a vision. Fairness and equity, resilience and adaptability, sustainability and responsibility, community and cooperation. But the first thing I'd like to point out to all of you who are listening is that although Carney claims that those are core Canadian values, that claim is not correct. Those are core globalist, socialist, utopian, net zero promoting environmentalist values. But the core Canadian values are actually derived from the Judeo-Christian, Western, broadly Western, and English common law tradition. And so I'm going to outline what those are, just so you can see the contrast between those values, which are the true Canadian values, and Carney's values, which have this patina or aura of high-flown positive emotion, but bear little relationship to the genuine historical reality and do not describe the values that made Canada the wealthy, free, productive Western democracy that it is. So Canada is actually founded on the principles of individual liberty and rights, the rule of law, equality and justice. And equality there doesn't mean equality of outcome, and it doesn't mean economic equality. It means equality of value before the law and equality of opportunity and responsibility and order. And so those are values that are very different than the value set that Carney is putting forward. And so then you might ask, if Carney didn't derive what he believes Canadian values to be from the historical reality of Canada, from what source did he derive his values? Now, you also might wonder why it's important to even delve into this. And well, the first conclusion we could draw is that Carney wouldn't have written a whole book about values if he didn't think that it was important to delve into values. And he certainly wouldn't have written a book revealing his own values if he didn't think it was important to communicate to Canadians and people around the world what he thinks Canadian values and his values are and should be.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
I think it was a brilliant speech. I think it was really, really important. And I think it's really sad. And, you know, I would say to you, influential Americans, to Americans here, we really like you. Like, Canadians like America.
Yeah.
We do actually.
Oh, I know.
And we respect
And why wouldn't you?
And
We're still fucking awesome.
Actually, you are awesome.
Yeah.
And you have done so much as a country.
Yes.
And the world, especially the world's democracies, will be really much poorer if you guys don't get your act together. Because a world in which we need to start relying on China, this is not a world where human rights matter.
Yeah.
This is not a world where democracy matters. And like, I feel kind of weird saying this, not being an American, but like, America's really great. And I think Winston Churchill was right when he said, America does the right thing after trying everything else first. So could you please, like, finish trying the other stuff?
Let me ask you a question from the point of view of President Trump. He made really clear during his campaign that his worldview is America first. And he's following through with that by, he pulled out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP, the Paris Climate Accord, the Iran nuclear deal, and now he's doing this. So he would ask, what's wrong with putting America first? What's your response?
Well, it is obviously up to Americans and American leaders to judge what are good policies for the American people. But I can say very clearly that this particular policy, the imposition of tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, is going to hurt Americans first and foremost.
Still think that it would be helpful for Canadians to know exactly what you would do when it comes to tariffs. So why are you being so reticent to talk about that?
Because I'm a good negotiator. I have negotiated a number of situations in the past. I know how to manage crises.
Oh, yeah. Canadian federal politics are absurd. We're going to stick a fork in that video. It's over. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Loony. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Please leave a comment below if you have something to share. Enjoy this playlist. Check out this video. We've got lots of things to watch. Aaron, Canadian Loony. We'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching this one. Ciao for now.